Every empire faces a core strategic dilemma. Expansion requires conquest. Conquest creates enemies. Sustained growth demands a solution to this inherent conflict. Most empires fail this test. They conquer, they extract, they collapse. Their acquisition strategy is predatory, not additive. Rome operated differently. It achieved unprecedented scale not just through military might, but through a radical integration model. It transformed adversaries into assets. It built loyalty from subjugation. Rome's strategy was not mere conquest. It was a sophisticated corporate merger. It was an M&A masterclass implemented over centuries. Its primary instrument, citizenship. This was not a passive status. It was a product. It was an incentive. It was the mechanism for turning newly acquired populations into value-generating subsidiaries. Rome's initial expansion across the Italian peninsula was not a simple land grab. It was a phased integration process. Early conquests, particularly of Latin neighbors, established a template. Defeated cities were not annihilated. Their populations were not enslaved en masse. Instead, Rome offered a tiered system of engagement. This was a strategic departure from typical ancient warfare, which often involved total destruction or brutal subjugation. Rome understood that long-term control required more than military occupation. It required systemic absorption. The acquired entity, whether a city-state or a tribal confederation, was assessed. Its strategic value, its population density, its economic output, these factors determined its integration path. Rome established colonies not as isolated outposts, but as nodes in a growing network. These colonies were populated by Roman citizens and Latin allies. They served as administrative and cultural integration points. Their presence solidified Roman influence and extended the Roman legal and economic framework. This initial phase demonstrated a clear commitment to an integration model over an extraction model. The objective was not just territory, it was human capital in organized systems. Roman citizenship was not a monolithic concept. It was a graded product line, strategically deployed. At its apex was Civitas Romana, full Roman citizenship. This conferred voting rights, legal protections, and the right to hold office. It was the ultimate incentive. Below this were various forms of Latin rights, Latinitas, offering some but not all of the privileges of full citizenship. These included commercial rights, the right to intermarry with Romans, and sometimes the ability to migrate to Rome and eventually acquire full citizenship. Further down were the Socii, or allies, who retained local autonomy, but were bound by treaties to provide military service to Rome. This tiered system was critical. It avoided the immediate dilution of full Roman citizenship while offering a clear pathway for upward mobility. It created a powerful incentive structure. Conquered populations saw a tangible benefit in cooperating with Rome. They could aspire to greater rights, greater status, and greater economic opportunity. This was not merely a social construct. It was a legal framework designed to incentivize loyalty and productivity. It allowed for controlled integration, managing the influx of new populations without overwhelming the core Roman identity or its administrative capacity. The physical manifestation of Rome's integration strategy was its infrastructure. Roads, aqueducts, bridges, and public buildings were not mere conveniences. They were the operating system of the Roman corporate entity. Roman roads, like modern fiber optic networks, facilitated rapid communication and movement of resources. They allowed legions to deploy swiftly, suppressing dissent. They also allowed goods to flow, integrating regional economies into the larger Roman market. Aqueducts ensured urban growth, sustaining larger populations and enabling greater specialization of labor. Forums and basilicas provided standardized spaces for Roman administration, law, and commerce. This infrastructure was a massive capital investment. It was an investment in the functionality and cohesion of the acquired territories. It standardized the environment, making it easier for new populations to participate in the Roman system. It demonstrated Rome's commitment to the long-term development of its acquisitions. This physical integration reinforced the legal and social integration provided by citizenship. It was the hardware that ran the software of Roman governance and economy. It made participation in the Roman ecosystem more attractive and more efficient than independent operation. The strategic granting of citizenship and the promise of integration yielded immense returns. Rome effectively expanded its talent pool and its military recruitment base. Former adversaries, now integrated into the Roman system, became loyal soldiers, administrators, and taxpayers. The Roman legions, initially composed solely of Roman citizens, increasingly incorporated allied and provincial troops. These soldiers, fighting for Rome, often earned citizenship upon honorable discharge. This created a direct feedback loop. Military service for Rome led to personal advancement within the Roman system. This was a powerful incentive for loyalty and performance. Economically, integrated populations contributed taxes, labor, and resources. They became consumers in the vast Roman market. This expansion was not extractive in the typical sense. It was accretive. Rome did not just take, it offered a value proposition. It offered stability, legal protection, and opportunities for social and economic mobility. This strategy mitigated the costs of conquest. It reduced the need for constant military occupation. It transformed potential liabilities into productive assets. The long-term dividend was a stable, expanding empire with a deep reservoir of human capital. Rome's integration model was robust but not infallible. The stress points emerged when the system struggled to scale or when the value proposition diminished. The Social War, 91-88 BCE, demonstrated the dangers of delaying full integration. Italian allies, who had contributed significantly to Rome's military and economic might, demanded full citizenship. Their grievances led to a brutal conflict. Rome ultimately granted their demands, but only after significant bloodshed. This revealed a critical lesson. Integration must keep pace with contribution. A failure to recognize and reward value creation leads to internal revolt. Similarly, in modern M&A, integration failures are common. Acquired companies often resist absorption, feeling undervalued or culturally incompatible. Talent departs. Synergies fail to materialize. Rome understood that successful M&A is not just about the initial takeover. It is about the post-merger integration. It is about offering a clear pathway for talent, a compelling reason for loyalty, and a robust platform for growth. Rome's empire eventually fractured, but its core integration strategy sustained it for centuries. It remains a stark reminder. Conquest is temporary. Integration is exponential. Rome built an empire that lasted 1,000 years. It did so by buying loyalty, one citizen at a time.